So thank you very much everyone for joining me today. Have a great morning. No, just kidding. So we do have program as I was mentioning again. Each hub, each region have same some projects that are the same, some projects that are not the same. So for the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific, we do have projects like She Leads and She Inspires. It's a 6-month leadership program for women, training them in open mapping, leadership, proposal writing, project management, and then after that, some of the projects, the best projects, gets to be implemented and they get support so that they get to learn how to implement their own open mapping project. We usually hold the Map and Chat Hour. It's our monthly get together, online get together. We play game. Mostly it's game show night. It's like a game show night. We just usually play trivia, map a bit, and talk about. For this quarter, we did not push with Map and Chat Hours since the communities are focused with State of the Map Asia. So as you may know, there's like this big international conference for open street map, open mapping, which is called State of the Map. So the Asian region has its own rendition of it. It has its own regional counterpart. And also in some countries like State of the Map Africa, there would be that large conference as well. So everyone's busy right now on that. But normally every month there's a Map and Chat Hour, which we usually do. Maybe by December or January it comes back. Um, the hubs also are responsible in providing grants. So if you are an organized community, organized organization, there are grants that usually are provided to this communities. So I myself on OpenStreetMap, I was just a mapper. Um, uh, with a friend, with the help of my friends, we were able to organize a community and we were able to apply in this grant. So this was pretty much my starting point with humanitarian OpenStreetMap through Mapbex. That was my community before, and this grants, for example, in the Asia Pacific region, we usually give it to the OSM communities themselves. So it's not like a granting proposal system at the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific. It's more of, okay, there's a dedicated budget for Sri Lanka, there's a dedicated for Indonesia, but the OSM community there is the one responsible in organizing how they would want to spend it. So there's more leverage, there's more room for them to be more creative in their projects. It's not just people proposing the same mapping project, things like that. So the booster grants have been done in Indonesia, in the Philippines, in Nepal and Bangladesh last year, and this year we're launching Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and India, specifically Kerala. So these kinds of projects really need the help of data quality specialists like you. So hopefully after this program, you still be open to be able to share your knowledge. Like, for example, I need the training in validation. Divya, maybe you could back me up on one training and things like that. And the skills that you learn here, it's more on the technical side, but I would like to also remind everyone to also give importance in the soft skills, in the other, in giving, like learning how to communicate the things that you've learned, because as much as we want to focus on nurturing the skills, the hard technical validation skills, I do believe that the communication skills are very important. You may know everything in OSM, but if you're just the only person and you're not open, you're not sharing it, it it pretty much ends with the knowledge, pretty much ends with you. So if there are opportunities that you see that you could help, also like you want to test training this specific topic in GOSM, and there's an opening that you might like to try, maybe for 20 minutes, you could just practice with a small crowd, and then it eventually grows and grows and grows. So the best, actually, not everyone, let me just remind everyone that not everyone in OSM is mapping. Like there are other things that needs to be contributed to. That's why the movement grew, developed, nurtured, it flourished There are also mappers that know a bit less or know less, not very technical, not very deep, but they're more focused on making sure that people get trained, people get understand the basic concepts, etc. So I guess I'd leave it at that, and I'll just open the floor to if there are any questions that you'd like to ask me personally or about the hub. So I forgot that this is the topic about the hub. So about the hub, feel free to ask me now or forever be missing.
I just have, please guys, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. Miko is here for us to answer all the questions that you have. Miko, one question I have is, you mentioned that we shall be supporting you with what? With validation. Besides validation, is there anything else that you think interns can get involved with, even after the internship, or even just now, within this period of the 3 months? Yeah.
Up to you. um, we could get coffee and let's not talk about nothing for a few minutes. No, just kidding. If you just want to share about your love life, your work life, things like, I'm very happy to do that. But as far as the next 3 months, I think the Asia Pacific region, especially from last year, we were not able to get much uh, projects in, right, Becky, in validation. So we hope that in the span of a year, we were able to already map a lot and get support in the validation. Hopefully, I would want to ask some of the data quality interns if you are free, if you want to test your communication skills, your training skills. We do have some opportunities that you could join and practice out your communication skills. Lastly, after this, after the 3 months, the booster grants are still running in different countries. So if you're within the countries I mentioned a while ago, feel free. Please ensure to be part of the OSM community. So I see here Mark Jerome is very active in the OSM Philippines community. I always see his name popping up, popping up. So be active and make sure to inspire people. Inspire more people to join the movement. What else? So also in the hub, we're trying to launch a test program for trainers. It's called OSM Gurus or Open Mapping Gurus. There's this demand of increasing demand wherein we need help in training newbies or new volunteers, new enthusiasts to know more about OSM. And hopefully I could tap some of you to help us in providing that introductory OSM training and things like that. I guess those are the opportunities upcoming from my end.
Awesome. Any questions? Mark, do you have any questions? Divya, any guys from the Asia Pacific can ask any questions now.
Please don't stop asking questions. Okay. Please do
I have
ask.
a question.
So this is in Sri Lanka, most of the OSM training going on English language. Okay, but we usually use local language. There are two local language. So how about you thinking about local language trainings?
Yeah, I do agree with you, Divya. Actually, the direction that my programs, especially in the community team, are dedicated to localization. The OSM Guru that I mentioned a while ago, it's more of a training, not it's a program wherein we select trainers with in different parts of the Asia Pacific region that focuses on providing localized training materials, localized training, and not focusing on the English language. So for example, I see here Manish, I see here there Anil. So it's more of like if an organization, a community, or a company is interested in doing a training in Tamil, I think I forgot the language in Sri Lanka, or in Sri Lankan or in Nepali.
Sinhala and Tamil.
Yeah. It would be more dedicated to those guru to provide it, not the hub, because the best that I could do is only train in English, and that's what I could share. But I would want a direction that your skills are translated into the local language, because in that way we are able to get more help, get more people in, and ensure that the quality also is there, because if I give my trainings in English, I do it always, and I do it, it's there are things that get lost in translation. So yeah, and this is the difficult part in this, I think in especially in a region that's very very big and very diverse, in languages, in time zones, etc., is that we need to also be flexible, especially for the our for everyone. If there is, I would like to just comment, also and comment, if there is something that is unclear, pause, stop for a while, and ask again. Our role here in this program would not to put in all the information. You are not pressured to get to understand everything at that point. You need to understand it, comprehend it, because the role here, after even after the internship, hopefully the goal here is that the learnings that you are absorbing here in this program, you are able to share it not just in English as well, but also in the local language.
Awesome. Miko, just a follow-up question on that. Is there already translations being done for the communities?
We tried I think Nepal has a strong documentation for OSM. I'm not sure with Sri Lanka. In Philippines, we still do it in English. Am I right, Mark? So so that's still that. As much as we want to do it in Filipino or Bisaya, we go back to English. For we tried doing it in Vietnam, though it's kind of hard to jump into the translation without the skill there first. So I think this is a good direction, is to ensure that the skill is there so that the translation would be easier. So hopefully in the next year, we might focus more on these efforts to do localization. But interestingly, based from community members, based on the things that I've been hearing, they say that English isn't the barrier, or the language isn't really a big barrier in really getting people to join or be part of the movement. Um, so that's still the big question mark. What is the big barrier? Yeah, I guess one big challenge, especially in the region, because it's a case-to-case basis, especially in Africa, in Europe, in America, there would be different motivations why people map, why people join the OSM movement. I guess noticeably in the Asia Pacific region, um, we are still trying to dissect how to properly recognize and compensate the time and effort of validators, mappers, because it's a different context here in the region. Usually, mapping gets to be an effort because of professional work, etc., because people have free more time. But I'm sure I could also talk in behalf of Africa that most mappers, most very good mappers also in parts of Asia, uh, are busy working because we need to work, right? So we're still trying to dissect or think about more how to incentivize or provide the proper level of support for our mappers, especially the validators and the data quality specialists, because they, as much as we put in millions and millions of data, but if our quality is not really good, it's pretty much useless. People won't be coming into OSM. Companies won't want to use OSM. Business doesn't want to use it because the quality would be. So I'm not pressuring the data quality interns right now. Um, good luck and may the odds be ever in your favor. Thank you. Sorry. Any more
One
questions?
just a follow-up question on the data quality, since we have the interns here and it's a data quality internship. I'm wondering, is there a major data quality issue that the hub is facing of late or in the past that is still ongoing?
That's a hard question. One thing that's difficult also is that it's a different convention, mapping convention per country. So no one person can just be saying that I'm doing things right and you're doing things wrong. Data quality wise means consensus. So we need to build that consensus through communication, community building, interaction, being very communicating these things properly in the proper channel. I think one challenge here is the data in the region is that um is so hard. Like I think it's the same data quality problem all over the world, but I think one big thing that's challenging is especially in the Asian regions, there are restrictions, especially in mapping. Uh, in some cases in Pakistan, you cannot map your own country unless you inform the government. In India, it's a different case. In the Philippines, a different in Indonesia. So I think it's kind of hard to organize or it's discouraging to map. Quality wise, there are people that are um, more advanced in quality, data quality, checking in those things, the tools don't understand. But it's a difficult entry level. Getting to understand data quality, it's a difficult entry level from being just knowing how to map buildings, roads, and POIs, and making sure that these are in good quality. So I think there's a gap between those two things, and there should be like easy, uh, easy way to connect these two things that the participant won't get bombarded, won't get terrified, won't get daunted with that very deep. Because honestly, I'm not a data quality expert, and it took me years just to figure out how tagging goes. So it's that there's that certain level of dedication and really wanting to make sure that your quality is good, to make sure that your data that the quality of your data is excellent. Also, there are some data quality specialists and validators that do not know how to approach new mappers, so they pretty much get discouraged. And the errors that they've done, they just leave it behind, and it gets left out into us. So I think those are the things that I actually encounter. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miko, for answering that. Any other questions?
that's a hard question, Becky. I hate you for that.
Sorry. Actually, I was thinking of it in terms of field mapping and remote mapping. Yeah. Anyway, you answered it so well. Either way.
Thank you. I think it's a different answer for each person. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one question from Mark. Hi, Miko. Aside from engineering related student organizations, are there a plan in pipeline to reach out to other courses or disciplines?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. But it's a big question. Where do you start? Like, aside from engineering related student organizations, um, we are actually exploring computer science students, agriculture, forestry, geography, etc. But at the same time, and architecture. At the same time, it's like a different interest for each one. On top of that, for example, in the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific, it has opened different kind of scholarship or sponsorship, sorry, for university clubs. So any university club from Asia Pacific region, for example, that is interested in promoting OSM in an activity event mapathon can apply for a $1,000 grant, uh, and they could use it for their activities for the year so that it doesn't just stay in the engineering field. Hi Divya, what's the basic process to get projects or grants? So actually it depends. For example, if you're in Sri Lanka, one way is that you could apply under the OSM Sri Lanka Booster Grant. You say you could submit a proposal to Dr. Sutakaran and the team, and then they just see if it's feasible, things like that. If you just want to hold up, I would suggest, especially if you're a newbie in the OpenStreetMap world, don't jump into a mapping project. Try to do a mapathon first. It's cheaper. It doesn't need much money. Actually, my first mapathon, I didn't get any. I didn't spend anything because um, someone sponsored the food, someone took over the venue, things like that. So they, and then eventually you could go and jump into a larger mapping project, and if you get so. And the hub is also there to support you in writing proposals, etc. Things like that. Uh, for SLSI, you could apply for Shinichi Inspires at the end of the program. There's a chance that your proposal could get funded for 5,000. So it's a different program. So what I suggest for everyone in this call, follow your hubs, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Usually they post there. Join Telegram channels, join mailing list. Usually they post scholarships, sponsorships, project proposals, call for, and things like that. Also, be active in the community. It shouldn't be just because you're part of the internship. It's just here that you're being active. Please do note that among thousands, you have your messages, your performance, your mapping has been selected, uh, not purely in one area, but these are scored, or this you were selected based on everything, not just a specific criteria, but all of these criteria have been taken into consideration. And I'm sure it was a very difficult feat for the selection team. It's choosing you. So please don't, like, as a friend, as an individual, please don't waste the brain cells. The brain cells of those who selected, because because I had the task of selecting 10 out of 70. I don't know what happens with 1,000 to bring down to that now. So be very proud, be dedicated with this work. uh, how many members need, what are the process, so for example, I started my community Devia in the Philippines. It's an LGBT organization that's dedicated to OSM mapping. We just started with just 5, and eventually, once we got the word out that we're mapping safe spaces, we're mapping gender neutral toilets, we're mapping HIV facilities, people got interested, people wanted to volunteer eventually, and then people started to contribute, mapping, etc. So my organization in the Philippines just grew and grew. So I think it's not about how many people are there; it's more on how organized the few people. Like similarly in OSM, you don't need a million mappers in your mapathon. If you could just get 10 Anils or 10 Ralphs, then I'd be more than happy to have that compared to a million mappers. Yeah, I guess that's my answer. Divya, I hope I was able to, and yeah, and Mark, I hope I was able to answer your question.
What is the basic qualification?
Basic qualification. At least I think with pro projects or grants, learn how to make a proposal, because as much as
That
you, as
that
much
mean
as, yeah,
of the members are not in the mapping background. Okay, they don't have a mapping background, but they are interested in the OSM.
Divya.
So most of the members are not in the mapping background, but
No. When we started, Divya, were you asking if everyone was having mapping background? What was your question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Most of the members don't have the mapping quality, but they have interested to contribute OSM. So
Okay. Please also, I'd like to also emphasize on this for this data quality interns. Uh, it's not like mapping should be the interest to map is a basic, I think, requirement for to be part of the OSM, because I do think you need to have that in any community, in any mapper, you need to have that basic interest of space, of maps, of creating that data. So it's just that. But it doesn't mean that everyone in your team, everyone in your community needs to be a mapping expert, needs to have that expertise. In our case, when we were starting, we were just a few, very five. I was the only one mapping. But we needed help, especially in getting the message out. So you need to have someone good at making posters, someone posting in social media, someone making sure that everyone's getting informed. So you need to have that those types of things. You also need someone to make sure that your event is fun, make sure that you have events or activities, etc. So ideally, the mapping can come in based on how you program your project, your program. So in our case, there was not much needed in mapping in OSM. We started in just collecting phone numbers of health facilities, and that's what we put in OSM. So please note that it's not just that, especially in the data, it's not just the location that we need to make sure. Like we also check in data quality, we also check the data, the attributes inside that map data, location data, and I would suggest don't stick to the mindset that data quality, especially in this program, just focusing on map, buildings, roads, etc. Be be uh, be open-minded that there are different types of data, and playing around with this data, how you get this data also into OSM, or is also a part of the challenge, or is also a part of the work that is being needed to be done by any mapper, any enthusiast. So before, I just thought in mapping in OSM, I just put a POI, I just put a building and road. But when I found out I could put in phone numbers, a contact person, how many floors, how many how many windows, what's the entry point. So knowing these things also can give more insight in projects, in ideas on how you could use OSM data for your future references. Yes.
I think no questions in the chat yet. Is there any other questions? I guess the silence is a no. Thank you so much, Miko, for accepting to speak to the interns. And thank you so much for all the hub information that you've given us today. Thank you everyone for joining, and yes, have a great day. Miko, you didn't share the hub social media accounts.
Yeah, I was about to share. So don't add the hub, add me. No, just kidding. So please do follow, like, join, and subscribe. Subscribe. Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific. We're on Facebook, Twitter. We also have the hubs in Instagram. Follow us on LinkedIn. So there, we usually post it also there. I do believe there's a YouTube channel as well. And maybe in a few months we have our TikTok channel. So follow me there and send some hearts. What else? If anyone wants, yes, please feel free to add me on Facebook. I'm very much open. Feel free to message me, drop a message. But if I don't reply immediately, just feel free to just message me. So usually I'm a very busy person, but I usually give time if there's time. Okay. Yeah. So Manish also messaged me a while ago. No. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, have a great day. Bye. Bye, Miko.
Bye-bye.
Bye.